I'm Renee Dowling from Reflections Art Studio, and these are some more free lessons for you since we're all cooped up. We've got to do something with our time. So I thought I would offer some free visual journaling lessons. Just sort of a public service announcement. The food bank is experiencing a crisis with all the increased people who are out of work. They are now seeking food from the food bank. So if you like what you see, to give back in appreciation for the lessons that I'm giving, I'd appreciate it if you would donate to the food bank. And let's see if I can, I gotta flip it. There we go. So it's donate@medicinehatfoodbank.com, and you can e-transfer, so you don't have to come out of isolation. And you can just donate $5, $10. And if you have to stop the video and you want to keep watching, it'll be recorded so you can watch. Or you can go to my YouTube channel. It's Renee Dowling Reflections Art Studio on YouTube. And it's also on Facebook Live. So what I thought we would do today is do something that I've just invented called the brain bomb. And then after that, then we'll go back and revisit some of the pages that we've been working on and add some finishing details and kind of go with the flow that way. And then tomorrow we'll do something brand new. So thank you again for joining me. I'm just going to adjust the camera here. And I know it's upside down. My internet is kind of kicking in and out again today, so when we're doing a self-portrait, you can do a couple of things. One is you can try for realism, and in that case, I would suggest you get a mirror and take a look at the mirror. Try to look at the mirror more than you are down at the page, because you are going to be drawing from memory if you're not looking at yourself. Or if you prefer not to do a realistic rendition of yourself, then just do a sort of like a cartoon rendition of your face, trying to make sure you have details that make you special. So for example, if you have short hair, make sure you have short hair on your picture. Maybe you want to draw a crooked nose. Maybe if you have dimples, put dimples. I decided my self-portrait is only going to be half of my face because I want my top of my head to be one thing that I've been listening to lots of things online, and Dr. Jody Carrington, to get it out and not keep it held in, because if you do those kinds of things, it can lead to depression, or in the case if you are somebody who is out like a healthcare provider or something, it can lead to PTSD. And so I thought it would be healthy for us to kind of do a brain bomb, and that is to write as much as whatever is going on in our brain and try to get it out on the paper so that we can move forward and be positive and not worry about what's going on. If you choose not to do something else that you're thinking about, that's fine too, but that's what mine is going to be about today. And lots of times I don't plan what I'm going to do, but I decided, I had sort of this vision this morning, so I thought I would like to get this off my chest and then move forward. So when you're drawing, I'm going to go for kind of a realistic one, but not really, so I'm not going to look in the mirror. I'm going to try to leave lots of space up top here for me to do some writing. And I'm going to, as you know, if you look at yourself in the mirror, you'll see that your eyes are halfway down your face. Lots of times, I know when I started drawing, my eyes are always up way too high where my forehead is supposed to be. So kind of keep that in mind. So I'm going to, you know what I'm going to even start with? I'm going to start with my hair. And this is upside down still. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to start with my hair, and my bangs are sideways, And again, I'm not trying for photorealism because, okay, so my hair kind of goes like that. Kind of curly. Trying to see if I can get you to see better. I guess I wanted my eyes originally to be down here, but oh well. That's what happens when you don't use a pencil. Then you have to problem solve. Faber-Castell Pitt Art S on it for small. It looks like I hope that you share with me what you're doing. And I know sometimes you're doing some of it from far away just so that I can see it generally in the distance. I'm not interested in reading what you have put unless you want me to see it. But I sure would love to see if you're following along. And again, I'm not sweating it too badly. Okay, so there's the top of my head, and your eyes are about halfway down, assuming. So one of the things that I've learned is, like, your eyes are the distance between, or the distance across one eye is the distance usually between the other eye. And one thing that I've learned, let's see, is I have troubles getting my eyes the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw sort of like a hexagon. Because for me, I find it more accurate to draw hexagons. And then you can always round them up. So it looks kind of good. My eye is about 2 fingers, so I'm going to leave 2 fingers and just put a dot. Then I'm going to try to repeat the same shape on that side. And again, I'm not going for total realism, so this is just going to represent me. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is you round off the eyes like that. If you just want to do cartoon eyes, that's okay too. And one thing that I've learned too is that, like, some people do the iris smack dab in the middle, but your eyelid covers that part of the iris. Eyebrows, or I'm going to, yeah, we'll put a pupil in. Now, if it's bright in your house, your pupils will be small, and if it's dark, they'll be large. Try to get them the same size. And then your eyebrows. And if you wear glasses, maybe you want to add your glasses onto your face. And just make these curvier. And then unfortunately, I didn't draw it high enough here. So, sometimes what I do if I don't feel like drawing my face and I've draw a fence in front if that's as much as the face that you want to do. And so what your nose is going to be, that's one thing I have sometimes do is I put my nose too long or whatever. But so one nose that I find easy to do is you do a C and a C, and then you're going to connect them together. And then you just kind of color in a little bit of a nostril. And try to represent your nose a bit. The one thing that I have on my nose is sort of a ball. Again, you don't have to go into detail, but should I draw my glasses? This looks like a very young me. I'm gonna maybe put some lines here. I'm actually looking in the mirror now. Okay, so to do a photobomb, and I'll come back to my sketch later. I'll just maybe add a few little eyelashes. Don't add too many and too long. It's kind of really creepy when people do that. I mean, it's good if you're doing like cartoon characters or whatever, but okay, so the photobomb is going to be writing whatever has been on your mind and you want to get off. And so on one side of my head, I'm going to write down a thought, and then on the other side, I'm going to write sort of like a counter thought. So, for example, on this one, I might say, think to myself, and this is like how you do speech or thought balloons, I guess. And I'm going to do my writing first and then put a bubble around it. So I'm going to think, oh, I just coughed. So then one side of my brain is going to say, it is a virus. And then my logical side of my brain is going to think, no, it's allergies. So how you kind of do that self-talk. And then on this side, again, oh, I have a sore throat. So then again, thinking, corona. Then on this side, maybe it's because I snored last night. Maybe that's causing it. And then on this side, it's like, we were in Arizona on February 17th to the I can't even remember now, 23rd, I think. So then on this side was someone airplane infected. So then it makes you think, oh, should I isolate for 14 days? Now, when we got back from Edart, weren't you worried about the coronavirus? And it wasn't something that even in the airport they had a mask, but we tried not to touch things. We washed our hands, but we never really thought about it. And then like 2 weeks. So then this side, you're saying to yourself, well, should I isolate or should I not? So then on this side, so other questions start coming to my mind, like on the weekend, holy crow, the numbers went skyrocketing in the United States. And then I got to thinking, well, I wonder, are little kids. And then this side is saying, no, it seems to be +18. That doesn't really make any sense why it would just go from 18+, but that's kind of how it was. And then it's like, oh, well, then we have to go, do we have to go shopping? There was a 3-year-old, I'm guessing, maybe a 1-year-old, and then maybe a 5-year-old, and then the mom and dad. And the little kid is touching everything. Like the 3-year-old, every time he walked by a shelf, he was touching. So then my brain on this side is saying, should I say something? Saying, stop touching everything. I wanted to scream it, but then of course I wouldn't. But so this is sort of like my brain, it's like a bomb. On the news, they're showing, and on Facebook, they're showing people are like doing nice things for other people. Oh, for example, some people in the United States, they went up into there was about 50 cars or maybe even more, and they had somebody singing, and workers were poking their head out the windows of the hospital and flashing like their phones or something to show that they can hear them. But then people were getting out of their cars, and they're, when you're parked side by side in a parking lot that is not 2 meters away. So people are doing nice things. But not social distancing. So then the brain starts going, oh no, faster, transfer. And then this side says to myself, well, maybe they are. I misjudged that. So you sort of rationalize. Much filled up. And so now decide. Do you want to just stop right there? I think I'm going to do just a quick watercolor wash, and I'm just going to, I don't know what color, sort of like, I guess I'm going to do sort of like gray blue to kind of show like these are all exploding out of my head. Kind of like clouds. Written it down and talked about this. Feel better. My shoulders aren't as high. The sun is coming out, so my attitude's changed. Plus, I haven't watched the news today, so that helped. Today I have to say, okay, enough already. I'm going outside. I'm going for a walk. I'm taking my camera, looking for signs of spring around in little circles. There. Sometimes, and simplicity is a great thing. And I'm going to just color in my eyes And I'm going to leave a little white spot of your eye, or that little light. You want to show it on the same, close to the same place on both eyes. Otherwise, it'll look a little weird, unless you have more than one light source. And then for I think I will do my eyes, or my hair. And my hair is sort of turning brown, so I'm going to mix red together. Red together. And again, if you don't have watercolor paint, just use pencil crayons, or just wax crayons, whatever you have. You can use acrylic paint too. Okay, and then some yellow. So I'm making orange. And then next I'm adding my blue. And then it turns slightly green, so my hair isn't green, of course. Add some more red. I should have probably cleaned my palette. And add some more yellow because my hair is not that dark. Okay, and then just, again, you can get some more you might just want to put some shadows. I'm just using blue for the shadows. Maybe put some shadows under where your hair touches your face. I am not an expert at faces at all. It's always something that I want to improve on. And then I'm trying to decide if I should put something here or just leave it. I kind of like it how it is. I might just add a little bit darker blue around where the eyelid is. Went too far. Now, if you get a dark line and you don't like it, you can just kind of scrub a little water. There. You could add some like lines in your forehead to show that you're thinking. Just doing really light touches. I might add a little bit of rosy cheeks. Show you that I did put some makeup on this. There. Now there's this really thick line there. And just kind of go back and forth and it'll soften it. Or you can also take your rag, just kind of tap it a little bit. There. I think I'm going to call this one finished. I used to spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing faces with a pencil and erase, do a little line, erase. And then when I stopped doing that, it wouldn't take me like 6 hours to do one face. And it's like, oh, well, today I'm just going to try to do a representation. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if there's a mistake. It's okay if my nose is not exactly right or whatever. I can see one eye is a little bit higher than the other here, so I'm just gonna, there. Sometimes it helps too to take a photograph. And to see if something is off or not. There should be a line here. It gives me a little age. And then one thing that I forgot to mention is when I do my visual journals, I always put the date and the year. And then I always sign it. And sometimes I will come back and add details after. And there's that little saying that art stops in interesting places. So, you can put something aside and say, oh. And sometimes that's what you need, is some time in between. So I'm just going to blow dry this before I turn the page. I would love to see your brain bomb. Okay. There. A little closer. All right, so the next thing I want to do is go back to some pages I already started. This was from Friday, and I decided that I was happy with just having the nice little rainbow colors and the words that stick out. I noticed too that I'm not even tempted to read it. I'm just looking at the words that are standing out. And here's a page that I've been also working on. And I think I'm going to connect it to my previous pages. So I'm going to go back to this page. This was from day 1. And a thing I thought what we could do, I don't know if you've done your page and what you've added, but I want to add some details. Now, like I said before, on the second day, I really liked the background and it could have been considered finished. But then I wanted to make sure that my page was more meaningful and had something that reflected me and my thoughts. So I added the globe. I added this it's a flattened globe. My theme was connection. And then I also added a spider web around, because spider webs connect things together. They capture things. Sometimes things can be released from a spider web, but it's sort of showing that connection kind of thing. And I originally had a big path here, and I did some journaling about, we don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully, like right now, things are pretty down low because more and more people are dying and getting the coronavirus, but things will look up and then we'll get through this and things will level off. And then, like I said before, I started to see that, I could turn my path into some buildings. So in my buildings, I just used the spaces that were there. I started adding people, and I'm going to just add some, now these are detail, but like I might add on here like a beard and a nose and somebody, maybe this guy's going to be bald. And musical notes going from one building to the next. I've been sort of touched by how people are sharing their music from one building to the next and people are applauding out their windows. So I thought then this person would sing back to this building details, but I'm going to add sometimes a bigger face just so that. So can you somewhere on your pages add some This one's going to have eyes like this because she's singing her heart out. La, 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 la. Well, I guess people do it for different reasons, but sometimes some people, they just use things that are bought in the store and they don't add their personal touch or what I was experiencing, even if I don't put it on my page. So I'm going to put some heart starting to fill in bed. I'll put some curtains. And then go out into the... When I first did the background, it becomes kind of precious. But then now, over here, maybe a girl small. Oh dear. And then I also showed you on Fractal to add some carrot people at the bottom or somewhere. I'm going to just use my pencil crayon to add a little bit of the color, and I'm trying to connect it to the colors I already have. So I have red and magenta, so I'll use some more red and magenta on my page to connect it. Maybe I'll give this person magenta. The scary lady gets magenta. Red, orange, because I didn't really use orange, but when I mixed colors, then I made orange. This girl's gonna get magenta lips. Scary. I am trying to make this fun and not... And the colors don't reflect depressing either on my page. Full on that day. It was my first day to do a live video. So let's see. That it's going to run in mixed colors. So if you think you're not an artist, you can be one. You can see all kinds of people making lots and lots of money. And they're not drawing realistically at all. They're doing cartoon people and doing very fine. What I did is I have these Prisma, no, they're called Neocolor 2 water-soluble wax pastels. And I love these pastels because you can outline things like that. I think I'm going to go on, should I go, yeah, I think I'm going to go down here too. And then you can take your paintbrush and then just kind of go like this and spread it out. So you can do some shading. And it really makes things pop. And then once it dries, so it's more opaque than watercolor, but acts like watercolor. And once it dries, it pretty much stays in spots, so that's kind of cool. So I'm going to do that on this one too. It has disappeared. I'm not going to go through my word connection. I want it to stand out. Something about black and white that make things come alive. Again, if you don't have that kind of thing and you have watercolors, then you can just use your watercolor. There. So it's kind of fun. Add some people over here. Maybe I'm gonna just do some cartoon eyes. Great big head. It's a monster. waving. Oh, that person's going to catch a heart. Add. It's kind of interesting too how even though you do them almost all the same, they always look different than each other. This one has a pom-pom cheering. Yay! Mm-hmm. There's a grumpy old guy. And one more person here. Okay, so at the bottom, I'm going to just do some more carrot people. Now, for those of you who weren't here on Friday, carrot person, you just make it by you're choosing a lighter color to start with. And at the bottom here, I have two people that aren't social distancing, and then this person here who's trying to make sure she's 2 meters away, and she's with her dog. And you just start off with a carrot, so a carrot is wider up, and then it comes down and narrows, and then there's the root. And then if you want to, you can start adding some arms. Sometimes they look good even without arms, or legs if you want. And then a head, but you have to make sure your paint is dry. Now I'm just going to use black. And once it's dry, then you can add some other colors for their clothing over top of the, I think this is called burnt sienna. And then also, I'll probably add a few more people at the bottom here, but then trying to figure out too, what's a finishing touch you can add on. One thing that I like to do is, sometimes I use these are called crayons again, and they're similar to the Neo color water soluble. What I do is I try to pick a color that would bring it all together. And this is, so one thing you can do with these ones is that you can just go along the edge and you can mix in colors. So I don't have purple, but that's the color that I decided that I want to use to put the finishing touches on. But you can see how they mix that. Watercolor brush and special brush that it came with. Oh, nope. Can't find it right now. Oh, I'll just use this one. It's a little bit firmer, that's. Or you can also take your finger and go across and do it that way too. And sometimes what that border does is just it ties everything together. It's kind of like you putting a picture picture frame around your art. But you could always do this with your watercolor paints as well. But again, you want to save, like I've seen people use this for background colors, but you just can't, you can't write over top of it because it's waxy. So you want to do it when it's towards the end. These gelatos are quite expensive, but I got them with a 50% coupon. And if you're a teacher, you can use your Alberta Teachers Association card and get a further discount. That's left for me to do is add some more people here. Put everything together. I like that. And then okay, so let's add some more clothes to this guy here. At least it's interesting how just little tiny blobs can actually look like people. Yeah, I think I'm going to just be done with that and then just add some more people here. There, I think this is done. I lots of times come back and add, and I'm just going to go over my date now darker. And then sometimes I do a little journaling, like I did this on Facebook Live. And where shall I put my signature? I'm going to put it maybe, over here. Don't want it to stand out. But there. Finished. Now if I oh, there's one other thing that I wanted to do is just use some yellow paint and just brighten this up a little bit here to kind of show that even in darkness we can connect. And spread bright light. There. Ta-da! finished. So if you have, if you've enjoyed the lesson so far and you can afford to, we'd appreciate it if you could donate to the food bank. Just to say, oh, I enjoyed Renee's free lessons online and I just want to give back to the community. That would be wonderful. Tomorrow we're going to try something totally different. We're going to do a creative background, and I'm going to use acrylic paint, a pencil, some pages from an old book, find things. You might want to use some Q-tips, corks, bubble wrap, all kinds of fun things. It's something new that I'm going to try out. Oh, and you'll need a glue stick. I like to use Yoo-hoo glue sticks. You might choose to use something else, but this one has strong and fast, and it dries. It dries clear, and it's acid free, and it's supposed to be really good for visual journaling. I love it very much. So, anyways, if you don't have it, you can just use what you have, but that's what I'm recommending. Also, if you share what you've done on the video and put it in the comments, or you can email me, then I will enter your name into a draw. And same thing if you donate to the Mesnat Food Bank, just let me know that you've done that, and then I'll enter your name into a draw, and it'll be for a full day retreat out here once everything is settled down, worth $100 in value. For every $5 you donate, I will put in a draw slip. If you share with me what you've done in the class, I'll also add draw slips. And if you share my page with other people and invite other people, I'll also enter you into the draw. So the more times you participate, the more times you'll get your name in the draw. So thank you so much, and please live a happy, healthy, creative life. And continue to support each other and make good choices. Be healthy, be safe. See you tomorrow, hopefully at 1 o'clock again.